Alex Eala, the nation's darling, diba? Ayan. So,
Pick it up, a green tin or a green sachet, the kind that fits in a child's palm, the kind a mother tears open at 6 o'clock in the morning while a school uniform is still being ironed in the next room. In the Philippines, this object is not a product. It is a piece of furniture in the national kitchen. For 50 years, Milo has been the powder stirred into the milk of a country that grew up dreaming of becoming something: a runner, a swimmer, a fighter, a champion of any small Saturday tournament where the medals were plastic and the pride was real. And on the 22nd of February, 2026, inside the fashion hall at SM Megamall, that tin found its face. Her name is Alex Eala. She is 20 years old. She is, as of this week, the 35th ranked women's tennis player on earth. And the brand that has been quietly building Filipino athletes since 1976 decided, in its 50th anniversary year, that the face of its next half-century would be hers. To understand why that decision lands the way it does, you have to understand what Milo actually is in Filipino life. It is not Gatorade. It is not Powerade. It is the National Milo Marathon, now in its 50th edition. It is the Milo sports clinics that have run in barangay gyms and provincial schools for decades. It is the alumni roll that includes Jamie Lim, Corazon Crisologo in basketball, Japo Lizardo in taekwondo, and quietly, on that same list, the name of a small girl from Manila who would one day beat the world number 2 on a grass court in Berlin. The February launch was not a soft photo opportunity. The Vice President for Marketing of Milo Philippines, Lawrence Lorico, stood at the podium and put his name on the bet. The My Milo Story campaign was unveiled. A television commercial was released, and the face of the campaign, and the face of the anniversary, was Alex Eala. Here is where the story turns honest, because a coronation that doesn't acknowledge its critics is a press release, not a documentary. And so the question has to be asked, has the commercial story outrun the competitive one? Some have argued exactly that. On Filipino fan forums, on Reddit threads, in our sports, on Facebook comment sections that scroll forever, a quieter voice has been pushing back against the noise. The voice points to the stack of endorsements: Globe Telecom since she was 8, Nike reportedly elevated to a global ambassador framing earlier this year, though the specifics remain partially unconfirmed, Honor Philippines, Nestlé Malaysia now in its 3rd year, and now Milo Philippines in its anniversary year. That is a brand portfolio more typical of a top 10 player than a player ranked 35th. The skeptics ask a fair question: where are the trophies that match the contracts? Where is the slam? Where is the title that justifies the marketing budget? It is not a cruel question. It is the question every young athlete in the endorsement era eventually has to answer. And the answer, as it happens, has been arriving on grass courts in Germany this very week. But to see why that answer matters, we have to walk through the evidence the way a marketing team and a world number 1 independently walked through it before us. Because two completely separate sets of professionals, working in two completely different industries, looked at Alex Eala in the past 12 months and arrived at the same conclusion: the ranking number has not yet caught up to. Start with what is verifiable. The Milo unveiling on the 22nd of February at SM Megamall is not rumor. Lawrence Lorico is on the record in Insider PH and Marketech APAC reporting. The launch coincided with Milo Active Pilipinas 2026 and the 50th edition of the National Milo Marathon. A television commercial was produced pairing Eala with pole vault world bronze medalist EJ Obiena. That is the documented core, an executive on-the-record commercial commitment from a 50-year-old national institution, not a leak, not a tease. Now layer in what Milo actually is, because a brand that has been embedded in Filipino sport for half a century does not hand its anniversary face to just anyone. The National Milo Marathon's opening leg on the 1st of March drew more than 28,000 runners. The brand has 50 events scheduled across 2026, 35 champ runs in partnership with the Department of Education, and 15 marathon legs across the country. This is not a sponsorship. This is infrastructure. And inside that infrastructure, decades ago, was a small girl named Alex Eala who attended Milo sports clinics before she was ranked, before she was famous, before Roland Garros knew her name. The brand's own alumni list places her alongside Jamie Lim, Chris Tiu, and Japo Lizardo. The full circle is not a marketing metaphor. The full circle is documented. The kid who drank the powder grew up to become the face on the tin. Pause there for a moment, because that detail, a child who attended the grassroots clinic of the brand that would one day choose her as its anniversary face, is the kind of thing that almost never happens cleanly in sport. The arc usually breaks somewhere. The kid quits. The body fails. The talent doesn't translate. The brand picks someone else. The fact that this one held, that the line from a small girl in a clinic to the centerpiece of a 50th anniversary campaign actually completed itself, is remarkable on its own terms. It is the kind of detail you would dismiss as fiction in a screenplay, which is exactly the story the campaign is telling. The MILO story television commercial pairs Eala with Eala, two individual sport athletes, both competing at the world level, both Filipinos. That pairing is itself a signal. Filipino brands have historically leaned into team sports, basketball, volleyball, the safe domestic bet. MILO chose two athletes who compete alone on global stages against opponents from countries with 30 times the budget. That is a philosophical bet, not a demographic one. And then, in the same year that bet was made, the receipts began arriving in real time. On the 17th of June, Eala defeated Donna Vekic 7-5, 6-4 in the first round of the Berlin Open. 24 hours later, on the 18th, she stunned world number 2 Elena Rybakina by the same score, 7-5, 6-4, against a Wimbledon champion, on grass, the surface Eala has historically been least comfortable on. And today, as this script is being recorded, she is preparing to face 6th seed Elena Svitolina in the Berlin Open quarterfinal. The brand's faith, signed in February, is now being tested by the WTA Tour in June, and so far that test is producing exactly the outcome MILO hoped for. The validation is no longer only commercial. It is happening on the court. Last year, veteran ABS-CBN journalist Diane Castillo released a documentary titled Alex Eala, Born for Center Court, which remains available on the ABS-CBN YouTube channel. The title belongs to the documentary itself, not to any quote from the tennis world. But one verified fact stands above everything else. Aryna Sabalenka, the world number 1 and reigning queen of women's tennis, agreed to appear in that documentary. She spoke about Eala's maturity, mental strength, work ethic, and dedication in practice. She was never required to do that. No rule says the world's top-ranked player must participate in a documentary about someone outside the top 30. Sabalenka chose to be there, and that decision speaks louder than any individual quote. In the same calendar year, two completely different institutions reached the same conclusion. One was a 50-year-old national brand. The other was the highest-ranked player in women's tennis. One signed Alex Eala to a landmark partnership. The other invested her time in telling Eala's story. Both delivered the same message in the language their industries understand best: this athlete is worth believing in. The numbers now support that belief. Eala climbed from a career-high ranking of number 143 in mid-2024 to a career-high number 29 on the 16th of March, 2026. She currently sits at world number 35 after defeating the world number 2 on grass. Her season record stands at 24 wins and 15 losses, with $786,855 in prize money. It is not yet the resume of a top 10 player, but every statistic is moving in the exact direction MILO predicted when it signed her, and perhaps even faster than expected. That brings us back to MILO Philippines Vice President for Marketing Lawrence Lorico and what he said on the day the partnership was announced. MILO has always been more than just the Filipino kid's favorite breakfast drink. It's been a companion in the journey of every Filipino champion. When we started discussing the campaign with Alex, she was immediately on board. She understands that her own MILO story can inspire others to start from grassroots to greatness. Two words define that statement: grassroots and greatness. Lorico was not simply promoting a product. He was describing a system that MILO has spent 50 years building through sports clinics, marathon events, and youth programs across the Philippines. Alex Eala is living proof that the system works. She started in those grassroots programs, and now she represents the highest level of international tennis. The decision to pair Eala with EJ Obiena strengthens that message. Obiena won bronze at the World Championships and Olympic silver in Paris. Eala defeated the world number 2 on grass. Different sports, same philosophy. Filipino excellence does not require a team to validate it. Sometimes all it needs is a tennis court, a runway, a training clinic, and a child who once drank Milo before school. That is why this week matters far beyond the Berlin draw. If Eala defeats Elina Svitolina today, she advances to a WTA 500 semi-final. Next week she is expected to compete at Bad Homburg in both singles and doubles. The week after that comes Wimbledon, where she is approaching the top 32 seeding cutoff for the first time in her career. Being seeded at Wimbledon means something far greater than a number beside your name. It means the All England club no longer views you as an underdog or a wildcard story. You become one of the players expected to shape the tournament. For a nation of roughly 117 million people that has never produced a Grand Slam singles champion, a seeded Filipino at Wimbledon would be historic. It would be a sentence that has never before been written. The partnership MILO announced in February could soon be validated by ranking points, Wimbledon seeding, prize money, and international results before August even arrives. That is what a long-term investment looks like when it begins paying off in real time. Filipino business media, including BNC Philippines, has also reported that Eala's Australian Open press conferences attracted more online viewers than those of Novak Djokovic and Aryna Sabalenka. Those figures deserve reasonable caution, but they fit the larger trend. The interest is real. The audience is growing. MILO recognized it early. The rest of the tennis world is only beginning to catch up. What makes this rise even more remarkable is how quickly everything changed. On the 11th of June, in the opening round of the Leibmer Open at Hertogenbosch, Eala suffered a heavy 6-0, 6-2 defeat to Magda Linette. It was her first grass court match of the season and the kind of loss that can easily create doubts about a player's future on the surface. Eala never offered a detailed public explanation for that defeat. She did not need to. 6 days later she defeated Donna Vekic in Berlin. 24 hours after that she shocked world number 2 Elena Rybakina. Her comeback became the answer. In less than 10 days she transformed a bagel set into one of the biggest victories of her career on the very same surface. That resilience is exactly what MILO invested in. It is what the documentary recognized. It is what Filipino supporters believed long before the rankings and headlines caught up. So what does the familiar green tin represent today? It represents a 50-year-old symbol sitting in millions of Filipino kitchens, mixed into breakfast every morning for generations of children dreaming of becoming champions. It has now found a face that truly lived the journey it promised. From a child attending MILO sports clinics, to a recognized alumna of the program, from a teenager ranked outside the world's top 150, to a top 35 player defeating the world number 2 on grass, from appearing in a documentary supported by the world number 1, to becoming the centerpiece of the 50th anniversary campaign of one of the Philippines' most iconic sporting brands. Alex Eala represents the moment a national institution looked back at its own history and discovered that one of its own children had completed the journey from grassroots to the world stage. And she is still writing the next chapter. The quarterfinal against Elina Svitolina takes place later today. If you are watching from the Philippines, you will probably know the result before much of the Western world wakes up. If you are following tennis anywhere else, keep your eyes on the Berlin Open, the Bad Homburg entry list, and the Wimbledon seeding cutoff. Because Filipino fans saw this story long before everyone else. They were stirring Milo into their morning milk years before the rest of the tennis world learned how to pronounce Alex Eala's name. The country has finally found the face for its green tin. Her name is Alex Eala. And her story is still unfolding.